The Bloodstone Chronicles, Book 1, A Darker Sun, by David Inkling. Chapter 7, The Storm. It is still raining when Elisa runs into the house, although the thunder has rumbled away and there are only faint reflections of lightning from the distant hills. She closes the door with relief and stands there. She breathes deeply as the rain runs down the sopping strands of her hair and drips onto her already soaked clothes. Her heart settles a little. Home bathes her in the secure smell of mother's cooking. On the table is the pie she has baked. Its crisp crust, golden and flaky, smells divine. "Oh my word," the mother says when she sees Elisa. "I hadn't realised the rain was so bad." "It was worse by the pool for some reason," Ellie says. "I'm just glad your father got the hay in." "How is she?" Elisa asks. "Any change?" No worse," her mother says. "But you need to change before you eat. Get a towel and dry your hair at least." No change. The words are heavy on her heart as she sits in her room. As she dries the long strands of her hair and rubs her scalp. It would be silly to think it would be immediate, she says to herself. "Thank you, Mamma," she says when her plate is empty. "It was delicious. Perfect." Then she says she'll sit with Grandma until it's time for her own sleep, of course. A smile lights up her mother's face. "Oh, Ellie, that's helpful. Your father must visit Miluina before the meeting tonight, so if you're sure and can stay up till we're home, I'll go with him too, but only if you're sure." Ellie does not answer. However concerned her face looks, inside, she smiles when she recalls the great fish. "Good girl," her mother says with relief. "But don't forget to make sure that she takes her sleeping broth. She needs all the rest she can get. The slightest thing seems to upset her. Even moving her to change her bed today made her anxious. She was muttering something for ages. If you find something to read and sit quietly, I'm sure she'd like that. But if she does stir, do not keep her awake. And don't sit talking for too long, please. I know the healer said we must still give her words to hear, and she may be aware of them, but I'm not sure that she hears anything I say anymore. I'm afraid she's said nothing sensible to me for the last 2 weeks." "Mama," Ellie says brightly, "don't worry. It will be all right. You'll see." Elisa's parents moved her grandmother into the snug so she can rest peacefully, and they can be near her all day. She now sleeps there, elevated even when she's dozing, propped up on pillows so she can see into the room if her eyes open. Before she'd used the stone, Elisa had thought it would be if her eyes open. But now she's thinking when her eyes open. Grandmother might have been sleeping for the last 2 days, and her eyes may have remained closed all that time, but Elisa has seen the lightning. She's seen the great fish. She has cast the red stone and prayed her deepest wish. It's all going to change. It has made a difference. She is sure. When Ellie carries a tray into the dimly lit snug, she hears the low breathing with its usual shallow rasp. Grandma shows no recognition of Elisa as she enters. The fire crackles softly, and there is a warm glow that flickers from the hearth. Elisa places their drinks on the side table and sits down. She listens to the faint sound of each breath as it drifts across the room. It makes Elisa feel thirsty, the thought of her throat being so dry, so she takes a sip from her warmed berry juice and settles into a large, soft chair. Patience, she tells herself. Time is all I need now. The clock ticks softly. A log slips and sends a flutter of sparks up the chimney. Nothing happens. Grandma's breathing stays soft and gentle, but shallow. Elisa looks over to the window. It is the largest window on this side of the groundwell and gives a clear view of the garden. She looks out as her parents move quickly along the path towards the village. Milowina is her aunt, and her parents will enjoy being able to visit together. They need to discuss the restrictions and what might happen next. Milowina is a maestra. She is used to speaking out. They will drink and share words. In times gone by, they might have played a game or two of Miggen, but now it's not the time for silly games. Elisa knows that only too well. Milowina will have plenty to say, even if she cannot express it at the meeting. The rain stops. The clouds have dispersed a little. They drift in patches across the darkened sky where the full moon is playing hide and seek. It shines at intervals every now and then, so there is a clear silvery edge to the trees, and it catches the wet path that leads to the village. The soft light paints the saturated landscape with a gentle sheen and shimmers in the pools on the path. Elisa smiles at the silvery glow and each splash of light in the deep blue terrain. Her parents will be at least 2 more hours. She has plenty of time to wait. When she is settled and the cushions have soaked up the heat from her back to become cuddly and cosy, Elisa takes the stone from her pocket. She holds it up. She doesn't expect much response from it now that the sun has set. There will be no natural light to shine upon the surface, but she wonders how it might react to her touch indoors. She studies the pattern on the stone. The pink lines run across its surface and trickle through it like veins of a leaf, or the veins of the back of an old person's hand, where flesh has been smoothed away by time. She gently places her fingertip on the thickest line and watches as a faint gleam moves along it once more. A glimmer flows dimly like her first time, but like a wave rising, like a pulse, it grows stronger. It shines, pauses, then pulses again, and soon waves of light ripple beautifully across the stone. And as she watches, the gleam grows stronger as her body warms the stone. The pulse quickens. She's so preoccupied with the vision of what is happening in her hand and the excitement of all she has seen that she ignores the quiet movement nearby.
Ah, so you have it, do you?
It is Grandma. Her eyes are wide open, and she is sitting upright, staring from her bed. Her face is shining, and there is a sweet smile on her lips.
Grandma!
Elisa says in shock.
Oh, Grandma, it worked!
I was a little worried for a moment, dear, where it had gone. The old woman looks down at Ellie's hands. May I have it back now, please? Oh, the stone. It's yours. Yes, of course. But what exactly is it? Ellie asks. She draws near and places the stone in her grandmother's hand. This is my bloodstone, Ellie. Elisa stares, eyes wide open, her breath held captive. It is my life stone, as some people used to think of them. What is it, though? It's powerful, isn't it? Elisa says. Oh, you discovered that already, have you? It's a fragment, a nubbin, or a part of the ancient bloodstone. I thought that was all supposed to be a myth, Ellie says. They say at school that, yes, they say the stones are just rocks. Fragments from some ancient meteor that shattered in the sky and scattered a billion particles when they wiped out the great creatures. They say they're just the remnants of a meteor shower, worn down over time. They say lots of things like that at school. The red spots are simply chemicals, deposits. I know, I've heard it too. The stones cooled over time, but it's only fluctuations in magnetic currents that somehow make them glow, Elisa says. Oh, so it's glowing for you, is it? Her grandmother says. She clasps the stone, holds it tightly in her hand, and clutches it to her heart. As she draws it nearer, the stone glows powerfully and pulses with a bright light. It shines between her grandmother's fingers. I've seen the fireflies too, Elisa says. Brightly coloured drops like sparkles of sunshine. They fly out of the stone and circle round me. Oh, Grandma calls out and chuckles. When did that happen? Earlier, and then later. Did you go to the pool with it, my dear? Yes. I was going to use it for a stone wishing, but all the fireflies turned red. And what was that, Grandma? It's my light, trying to find me. It found you, and knew that you were like me, but not me, if you understand. And when you brought it back close to me, it wanted to come back to me. And what exactly is it then? Ellie asks. It is my life, Ellie. My being, the essence of me in a living stone. The part of me that sets me apart from any other. It holds the first and the last part of me. And that is the part of me that lasts. I was going to throw it into the pool, Ellie says. Elisa stares at her grandmother, who smiles with surprise. Well, I'm glad you didn't do that, Ellie. It would have meant... Ellie holds her breath, waits for the end of the sentence, but she already knows the terrible truth of what she might say. She does not want to hear the final words. It holds the part of me that will exist when this body closes its eyes finally. It is my soul stone, and when my last breath leaves, the stone will cool finally, and the light will ascend. Ellie reaches out at this point and places her hand gently on her grandmother's, where the delicate veins seem so fragile, so vulnerable. The intensity of the light held there increases, and then as she watches, the white light flickers, burns, and turns a pale blue. Oh, look what you did, chuckles the grandmother. A broad smile breaks across her face. You're a blue. What does that mean? What is a blue? Ellie's voice is excited and nervous all at once. It means, my dearest, that you have a bloodstone waiting for you that shines with the purest blue light. Blue, like your father. I thought as much. But I don't have a bloodstone, Ellie says. Everyone has a bloodstone, Ellie. But for most of us, they're lost. You must find yours. Seek it out, and all will be clear to you. Can't I just share this one with you? The grandmother is silent. She places her other hand on Ellie's, so that her palm is nestled between her own. Whoever finds their bloodstone, Ellie, is truly blessed. But you must realize there is only one for each. The light of the stone comes to you, Ellie. There are many, many stones, of course, but countless lives go on in total ignorance of the light they have. Where we might see a stone's beauty, the unseeing regard this and all others like it as simple rocks, dull grey stones. They do not see even what you have discovered already. For some folk, light is just a refraction. For you, it is a fantasy of fireflies. For others, they see the holy host, the seraphim. Many are not even aware that bloodstones are there. Some people of faith say there is only ever one true stone, that all bloodstones are splinters, fragments of the ancient rock. Some people of faith, we call them echoes, say that we all have them, that each one of us somewhere is gifted with a bloodstone, but they do not accept that it has any life anymore. They say the stones are not a living stone. It's very sad, but they do not believe that it offers any life if touched. For them, bloodstone is an idea. You see, even followers of stone law cannot agree. You, my dear, have been blessed to see the light of this stone. And you are so young, Ellie. Many discover the light only after the greatest suffering, after a terrible falling off, when they almost drown in darkness, and too many are lost in that darkness, left blind to hope, and they do not recover. So why do Ma and Da, your parents, Ellie, they no longer seem aware, I fear. I see it in their eyes, in their silenced words, Ellie. It's as if they are echoes. It will not help you to speak with them. They do not understand. They won't help you understand bloodstones or the light. I'm not even sure what they'd say if you shared what you have already seen. This truth has been revealed to you. It is a calling to the purity deep within you. You have seen and have not turned away. The light shines where it will, as if it seeks you. Only the open-hearted will see. Her grandmother pauses. She takes a deep breath, then coughs twice and closes her eyes. My dear, I am very tired now, so you must let me rest. Pass me the drink, or your mamma will be nagging you about it. The grandmother takes her bloodstone and places it in a pouch on a leather strand that hangs around her neck. The weight of the stone pulls it down so it rests on her chest like a pendant. As she drinks and empties the beaker, Ellie gazes at the light. It glows around the opening of the pouch near her grandmother's heart. It is as if the stone has somehow dissolved, and inside the pouch she can see there swirls a vortex of bright particles. We will talk some more in the morning, Ellie, and you can tell me all about this fish. She pats the pouch softly. You must let me keep hold of this now, for a little longer, but it may come to you in time. I know you'd like to hold on to it and gaze at it, but I need it just a little longer. When I close my eyes finally, you may take it up again, if you still wish. Elisa's grandmother lies back and closes her eyes. Her breathing is steadier now. The raspiness has gone, and whilst it remains shallow, Ellie notices there is a determined rhythm to it, a clear breath in and out and in. It eases itself into the room where the soft flickering of the fire and the gentle clock, welcoming. The only other sound Elisa hears is her own soft sigh of relief. She pulls the blanket up around her grandmother's arm and then blows out the nearest candle. It has burned all the while in a brass sconce. Another candle flickers across the room as she collects their beakers. "Good night, Grandma," she whispers. Then she closes the door softly. In a few more moments, Elisa has washed the beakers, tidied the things away, and she steps quietly towards her own bed. The clock ticks. In another 10 minutes, she is at peace, fast asleep in her own snug. Her heavy eyes close out the distant storm, which rumbles on over the hills. Outside, a second bank of cloud moves across the landscape and snuffs the light of the silver moon. Its calm light completely disappears, and the darkness thickens, so that all those who have attended the meeting stumble home. The harsh clamour of wind whistles between each tree, each dwelling, and over the hillsides, making it impossible to speak. But it saves many an angry word between man and wife, or brother and sister. Each person steps quickly from the sun hall. They just want to be home and close the door on the events of such a terrible evening. The meeting, if it can be called such a thing, ends very quickly. The attendees are abruptly dismissed. Nothing is discussed. The maester shares none of his own words, and his own thoughts are kept private. He walks in with an ashen face, and in total silence steps up to the word stand. Then he simply mouths the words of a document published earlier that morning. It has been sent by Ryder from the high altar in Wilden. His voice is flat when he speaks, removed of all feeling. The bishops have published their stark decrees. The term maestra is now deemed heretical. Only an ordained maester may speak out. In the maester's absence, a subordinate or cleric may read a lesson. Meetings are to be held only in sanctified halls on each day of sun. No woman may speak within any sun hall across the kingdom. All so-called maestra writings are to be surrendered to the guard. All prayer is to be the sole domain of adult males. Attendance at hall each day of sun is compulsory unless under an approved healer. The names of all in attendance will be recorded in the lists. All ancient sun festivals and stone law rituals are herewith forbidden, as he reads a loud rumble of thunder accompanies each demand. When the maester has finished, his voice drops.
There is one final decree,
he says. His faltering voice is now barely a whisper.
Any citizen claiming to possess a bloodstone must register their name with the local guard within 48 hours. Anyone found with such a stone thereafter will be guilty of the most severe heresy, and they will face the flames.
What he says next is barely audible. His voice is broken, and he struggles to get each syllable out.
It is so.
The echo, the customary chorus of voices repeating these words, does not come. The hall is silenced. The people stand still and lifeless, like trees after a mountain fire.
Good night,
the maester says, and lifts his hand as if to send them away. He waits, watches each person turn and file out of the doors. They move in a silent stream from the warm yellow light into the dark tumult of the wind outside that whips into the hall as the door is open. No one speaks, but passionate eyes move swiftly from face to face as rapidly as sheep startled on a hillside. Husbands take the shaking hands of their wives and lead them away. And once or twice, the swallowed cry is muted beneath a hooded brow as juddering shoulders shuffle swiftly to the door. Outside, Elisa's parents tread quickly. The rain that had been heavy all evening has eased, but it will return, and it will be worse as a new bank of cloud reaches the hills and gathers round them. The pressure rises, and they sense a great downpour still to come. The sky rumbles ominously, and thunder lurks. It growls and prowls across the dales that are almost pitch dark now. They navigate with their ears, hearing the hard path below their feet. They mourn the loss of the moon's guiding light and feel foolish for being outside without a lantern.
Move quickly, Christophe,
Helena calls out.
It is coming.
A light flashes, bright and white. It is here, Christophe shouts back. A great streak of lightning cuts the sky, searches for ground angrily and rises up again. It circles before splintering the night, then lands with an explosion on the nearest hilltop. Once, twice, and the third time the hill flashes with fire. Waves of heavy rain fall steadily and persistently as a deep surge moves up the valley and floods the river Stone. Crackling light breaks, and Helena's prophesied deluge begins in earnest. The torrents of rain flatten and saturate their fields of unharvested wheat. They drench the uncut hay and batter the roofs of each groundwell. The work of the sun and the efforts of the people are destroyed. The wind cuffs the trees, breaks the branches laden with fruit, and rebukes the promised goodness. Thunder breaks, as if a field of cannon have discharged the first volleys in some ungodly war. The villagers of Greendale, who are already snuggled in, drop lower into their beds, pull their blankets tight around them, and close their eyes. They will search in vain for slumber for many hours. As Christophe and Helena pass the mound, a blistering flash crackles from the heavens lands at the centre of the stone circle and with an explosion of fire ignites the wooden structure that sits there. They stand still and watch the burning. It is brilliant and awful against the dark sky. The great sun-shaped totem shines briefly, and its light flare radiates spectacularly for the few who witness it at this ungodly hour.